Showtime.
Okay, so... hold on.
Get some. Yeah, we're going to start at 2:00.
Okay, Henrietta. Hello and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Oto. Thank you very much.
So the show starts now. And I have a couple of questions that you actually came up with, and we're gonna start step by step. You have a lot of experience as a competitor in bodybuilding, and also you have 2 little kids. You can tell us something about yourself first, sort of like a shorter version.
Okay, so my name is Henny and I'm from Hungary. I'm the mother of 2 little boys and they're my everything. I'm raising them mainly by myself, and the reason I got into fitness was when I was about 18, 19, and I was looking for my way out. I was gaining a bit of weight. I moved country, so it was a very difficult time. And then I met lovely people who worked in the gym, and they introduced me to fitness. And then I think I made the common mistake what most people do, and I fell into body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and I was trying to find my way out. And my way out basically was education, learning about things, learning about nutrition, learning about training, what other ways. I tried loads of fat diets. I tried MLM. I tried many, many things, magic weight loss pills, fat burners, you name it. I've been through it all. But I found that fitness itself and nutrition itself is the key for a happier life, 100%. And I started going to gym in 2013, if I remember well. And I'm in since.
Wow.
And I kind of love it still to this
Keeping
day.
the motivation there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is like a safe space. So whoever goes to gym, they say that that's their escape, that's their safe space. And I can 100% relate to it. Whether it's gym, exercise, whatever sports you do, it's your 1 hour, 2 hours, half an hour, whatever time you have a day, it is your time. So many people enjoy going to... like beauticians, hairdresser. It's the same way in the gym. You just do something for yourself.
Yeah, I agree with this. You suggested one question, all or nothing mentality. So tell us more about that.
So the all or nothing mentality is something I've started with. So when I say I started going to the gym, obviously, as everyone else, started on the treadmill. Now, I was desperate to lose weight because in my head, I wasn't right. So I was putting on like 2 tracksuit bottoms, 2 jumpers, and I would run like 1 hour on level 10, which is like very excessive run just to make sure that I lose loads of weight. And then if I didn't have the energy or the strength, then I just felt like a failure. And then it took me years and years and years to come to a stage where like, okay, not every workout is going to be my best workout. Not every workout is going to be personal record breaking. Not every workout is going to be super sweaty, have your heart rate super up, or you're probably not even going to feel like doing anything, but you just go down and do 20 minutes walk. It's still better than sitting at home. And then the next day, like, oh, I'm just a failure. Because that's what happens in many cases. And I talk to many people, it's like, oh, I didn't feel like doing leg day today, so I just didn't go to gym. But if you don't feel like doing legs, try something you feel like. It's not about, in my opinion, it's not about doing something you don't want to do just because you have to do. Do whatever makes you happy. And that's why I say to people, and this is one of the reasons why I started this home workout thing, is to show people that you do not need to go to gym. You do not need to commit to weights. You don't need to go to spin class. You don't need to go yoga. You just have to find that one exercise which makes you feel
Even
better.
Dancing for some people.
Even Zumba classes, they're fantastic. Now, I have a sense of rhythm as probably like an alligator, like nada. So I wouldn't be suitable for the Zumba class. But for some people, it's great and it's amazing. And it's amazing when someone actually has the feeling inside of like, wow, I found something what makes me feel good, what I feel successful. Mm-hmm. And that is something I think everyone should accomplish at some stage in their life.
Yeah, I have a similar approach to it myself. And I always remind people that tomorrow is another day. Maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you're tired, maybe you already did 3, 4, 5 workouts in that week that are very hard and you're kind of feeling it, sore muscles, and you're there. So there are, I think, 3 major zones of training where you have your bare minimum then you have your optimum, and then you're reaching this maximum threshold where you kind of risking overtraining, injury. So you don't want to train constantly in the maximum.
Oh yeah.
You will have some minimum threshold trainings. You have some optimal levels, and then occasionally you're gonna hit your max. Like, okay, that one session was a real push, And also depends on the volume of the training, how well you sleep, how well you recover. So it depends on many factors.
Of course, and then there's many factors or in general in the fitness, as far as I've seen, are not really talking about. So hydration is one of them. Work schedule, your personal life. So many people's like, oh, everyone has the same 24 hours. That's not entirely true. So someone who has 2 kids at home, they don't have the same 24 hours as someone who's doing a part-time job, 3 hours a day, have no kids, have no dogs, no cats, nothing. It's different. So we all need to learn to prioritize and implement little changes in our life, which will result in a bigger picture. And again, this is another all or nothing mentality of like, oh, if I can't diet and train at the same time, then I'm not even starting it. Instead of saying like, okay, might not be my time to diet and train and everything all at once, but maybe I can just try to walk to Tesco instead of driving there. Or maybe I can walk the kids to the park instead of driving to the park, or something little by little. These small changes can actually add up and have a huge impact. But again, what we see, especially on social media, is everyone is perfect. Everyone is in the gym. Everyone is happy. Everyone is smiling. Nobody sweats. Nobody has pimples. It's just an amazing world with no fat rolls. And that's not reality. That's not reality. And that's I'm trying to show that you don't need to be perfect to change the way you live and to change the way you look at yourself. And I think that's something really, really important message to get across.
Yeah, I agree. So how would you encourage people to get started?
Well, I would...
we're talking about fitness journey, maybe weight loss, maybe body recomposition, looking better, feeling better. So how would you...
I think the first step is someone to recognize that they're not happy. So there are people who will say, oh, I need to lose weight. Like, okay, just don't drink Coke, then drink a Diet Coke. Oh no, but I love the taste of it. It's like...
Excuses
you're not happy, but you're not really unhappy either. You're comfortable. So if someone really, really wants to change, they really need to be unhappy with themselves, and they really, really want the change to happen from within.
That's what depression is. It's like the pressure to change.
Yeah, and I feel like I can motivate whoever. Like I can sit down to anyone and I can tell them, listen, go to the gym. It's just gonna make you feel so much better. And they'll be like, yeah, right, thanks. And they be nodding at me and smiling at me, and they're just gonna walk away and do whatever they want. So I think the most important thing for people is to recognize what's negative in their lives, and to be able to recognize the steps they themselves can make before they asking for external help. Because there's many, many things we ourselves can do when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to fitness, to improve our fitness levels. But then in the age of the internet, when we have Google, we have AI, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, TikTok, you name it. All these platforms are full of free advices, free trainings, loads of information. Like I've learned so much from Google Reels. Loads of Reels are educational. Now, I'm not saying to believe everything what you see there, because I've heard some information when my eyes were crossed, to be honest, of like, how can someone say this?
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's so many sources of information. We just really need to up our minds on to take a step and look up information. So anyone who goes into Google, they can just calculate like, what's my maintenance calorie? They put their age, they put their height, their body weight, their gender, and it gives you the number. And even if you just download an app like MyFitnessPal, or there's like many other apps, you just download it and it gives you roughly how much you eat. So without a trainer, without anyone, you can see yourself of where are you and where things go south. And if you have a rough idea, you can go to a trainer or a coach or whoever you name them and just say, look, this is where I'm struggling. But so many people don't even recognize it. So many people say like, oh, it's just baby weight. How old is the baby? 18. It's like, It's not baby weight. Loads of times it's
Lots
not.
of excuses.
Yeah, and loads of times it's not baby weight. It's just, and it's not even excuse. It's just we don't acknowledge the serving sizes, for instance.
Yeah.
So if someone says, "Oh, I just take 1 spoon of sugar," now is it a tiny coffee spoon? Is it a medium teaspoon? Or are you putting a tablespoon or a whole scoop? You know,
Yeah.
we can all call all of them one spoon, but the size does matter. I mean, that was a funky one, but anyway, you get the point.
I get you.
You get the point. So there's like loads of information which can be clarified by ourselves very quickly without any external help. But the main thing is that this change has to come from within, and we need to make sure that we are aware when we're about to change something that this might hurt. Like this might cause our bad days.
Yeah, discomfort.
This might be something that you're going to cry for a chocolate bar, for instance. Now, again, the way I see things is that you shouldn't really cut out everything from your diet. But yeah, you might look at the spinach and like, ew, that's green, you know, but then at the end of the day, you're going to have to eat that spinach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my all or nothing kind of whole mentality in this.
Mm-hmm. I think from point of view of finding the balance, it's important to realize that we are responsible for the results of our decisions. So if I decide that today I'm going to have 6 shots of vodka, I'm going to have a big pizza and ribs, and you know, it's my choice and my responsibility to deal with it for the future. It's the same way you are responsible saying, okay, I'm going to train today. I'm going to have a nice chicken breast with salad and rice. I'm going to drink green tea. I'm going to hydrate myself well. And I'm making conscious decision. This is going to be part of my routine today because this workout will make me feel stronger and feeling better and stronger and healthier. In the long term, this food will support my lifestyle, will give me the energy and the resources that I need to grow the muscles, to repair everything that I need, including brain, kidneys, liver, everything is. So I'm taking conscious decision, educated decision, even though I don't feel like training, even though I don't feel like eating clean food today, and I would prefer to have ice cream, I still gonna push myself to do it because it's a discipline. You take this internal strength. And I think also when people train, they train their mind as well. So it's actually when it's hard, will you quit or will you push a little bit harder? So I think in that aspect, we train the mind and body together.
Absolutely. And one more thing is what kind of occurred to me is when you say this, but Jesus, I lost the thought now for a second. What were you saying? Oh my God. That's such a great idea and it's gone now. Anyway, it will come back to me. So go ahead.
It's totally fine. Yeah. So what would be the common mistakes people make on their journeys through changes, through nutrition, exercise phases?
There's quite a lot, actually.
Go for it.
And,
Go for it.
Yeah. For example, not reading the labels. That is, I think, reading a label or just even Google it. What does a label do? Why is it there? Because it is there for a reason, you know. And I see loads of people, it's like, oh, but it says high protein. Yeah, but if it's 10% more than the average, you can put on high protein.
You know, on the potatoes, there's no labels. On bananas, there's no labels.
Oh, no, I'm
really.
not.
I'm joking, but I said that produce doesn't have labels because it's the one thing. It's
exactly
you buying the watermelon, you're buying an apple, you're buying, chicken.
But then if you think, now I try to approach it kind of realistically. Mm-hmm. So as like an everyday person, not someone who's like a really big fitness enthusiast and they only cook their own meals and they only buy fresh vegetables and whatever. But if you go to any supermarket, if you pick something which says high protein, now not talking about protein bars or protein powders, I'm just general like high protein milk, and you just compare a high protein milk with a regular milk, the protein content isn't that much higher.
But it's almost double the price, so it's smart
and the
marketing.
Price, yeah, exactly. So it's like there's loads of like EU regulations when it comes to food labeling. And it only has to contain a small % more than the average one. Same with the low fat, the low sugar. It only has to be a teeny tiny amount less than the average. And they can label it as low sugar, sell it for more, and you think you're doing so well for yourself. Like I have a client and we were kind of looking through of like what is happening, why we stuck a bit, you know? And I asked her, like, can you just tell me what you were eating? And she was like, oh, I was eating this granola muesli stuff for breakfast. And I was like, I don't remember recommending that. So she sent me the label. And of course, it's with dried fruits. It is like loads of calories.
Sugar.
Loads of sugar in it, you know, which is like, if you compare like 50 grams of oats, comes with like 100, on top of my head, I think it's like 150 calories or so. 50 grams of oats. And then you take 50 grams of this, it's like 250 calories. You know, that's like an extra 100 calorie. And if you have like 3 meals a day, that's extra 300 calorie. And when you're in a deficit trying to lose weight, that 300 calorie can easily sabotage you if it's a daily occurrence. So this is a very common mistake. Or saying things like, oh, I don't drink Coke Zero. I'm drinking the full sugar Coke because Coke Zero has aspartame in it and artificial sweetener. And if you have problems with artificial stuff, don't drink normal Coke either.
Drink water.
Drink water, drink green tea, you know? Yeah. It's like, you know, you can't really... There are these little silly kind of mistakes people make because they try to... They don't want to do the research. They just check the huge stamp in the front of the item they're buying. I'm like, oh, this is labeled as healthy. Yeah. Or gluten-free. Gluten-free is making you lose weight. No. Gluten-free is great for someone who has celiac disease, where gluten causes them big stomach issues, problems, pain, struggles. Gluten-free is great for them. You're not going to lose weight. Yeah. Same with the sugar-free biscuits. If you check, my son's diabetic. So when he was diagnosed, I was talking a lot with his dietitian, and I asked him about, oh, do you know, like there's these sugar-free cookies, and even she said, like, there's no need, because the carb content is the same. It's not sugar, it's sweetener, but the calorie is the exact same. So just because something is sugar-free is not going to make you lose weight. And the same applies for all the food supplements, any food supplements. Name fat burners. I have personal experience with Holland & Barrett's, one of their fat burners. I was taking a lot because I thought, like, oh, the more the merrier, you know, like it's going to be amazing because I'm going to lose all the weight in 3 days. No, I just gave myself a very bad inflammation. I was hospitalized.
Really?
It is dangerous stuff.
Wow.
Because people think that, oh, it's grand, like it's over the counter. I just go there, buy it, and magically I'm going to lose my weight. Because, like, no, if that would be the way it works, everyone would be fit and toned. That's unfortunately, there's absolutely no magic. And then same way with the fat diets. Fat diets are the exact same misconception. There's 90-day diets, whereas like there's one day when you only eat fruit, one day you only eat soup, one day you eat carbs, one day you eat protein, and then you repeat it for 90 days. And the whole point of it, of every of these diet, is a calorie deficit. This is all what you need to lose weight. And in Hungary, there was popular, I don't know if in Ireland that came, but it was called the cabbage diet. I don't know if you heard about it.
I heard about
cabbage
it, yeah.
diet. Another one was egg diet. You would be eating like 6 eggs a day. And like that would be your meal with like some salad leaves and cucumbers. Like, oh my God, man, I'm going to make the cookie diet. You eat 3 chocolate chip cookies a day and that's it. Like you're going to lose weight with cookies. You know, it's like, it's the lack of proper education. I think that goes back to school as well. So,
or parents.
Yeah, but you know, if some parents are not aware, then the school where the kids spend most of their times. Now in Ireland, school meals, as far as I've seen, they're great.
Yeah.
They're very healthy. There's a huge variety. They're really emphasizing the fruits, the vegetables, the whole lot. But I think kids would be more educated on nutrition, on how weight gain, why is it dangerous to gain loads of weight? It's not dangerous because people are going to laugh at you that you're fat. Because there will be people who like fat people. You know, it's like there's no one size fits all. It's just the health implications of obesity, which people need to be more aware of, as opposed to, oh, I want to go to gym because I need to lose 5 kilos. Yeah, but why you want to lose 5 kilos? Because you're scared that in 10 years' time you're going to have a heart condition? when in 15 years' time you're going to develop type 2 diabetes? You're scared because you're going to get a stroke or a heart attack when you're 40? Or you want to lose weight because you bought a size 8 dress and you don't really fit as you think you would want to fit? You know, there's like a massive difference. And most people just want to lose weight for holiday, for a wedding, for a birthday party, and not wanting to, how to say it? They don't want to re-implement their lifestyle. They don't want to reinvent themselves. They just have a quick goal. I just want to do it in 2 weeks' time, 6 kilos. How long did it take you to gain 6 kilos? It doesn't take 2 weeks. You can't gain 6 kilos in 2 weeks. Unless you're eating.
I'm sure some people can achieve that.
Yeah,
some
but
really
like
special
you
people.
have to do like sit down and do mukbangs for like days on end to do it. But on average, you don't really gain 6 kilos in 2 weeks. In reality, it takes you months, if not years. And then to lose it, it's actually a lot faster than to gain it.
Yeah.
But it takes more effort.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot more struggle, which is again.
Yeah. Actually, there was one case I asked a client, he has special needs, so it has to really take it with a little bit of that he doesn't have the same mindset to other people. And I didn't realize this was the case, but seems like he actually mostly drinks Coke diet as the main drink of the day. He doesn't drink any water. So basically, he's drinking just Coke Zero.
Wow.
And I'm like, that can't be healthy.
No.
So I went to Gemini and I was just researching it. Like, what's the disadvantage of replacing water with that? And one of the major ones was the potential issues with the heart, and also it will rotten the teeth because the acidity of the drink kind of damages the protective layer.
Absolutely.
So it's a chemical cocktail. So there are some major disadvantages of doing that health-wise in the long run. Some people don't realize that. They think like, oh, yeah, well, it's safe. In moderation, have maybe a glass or two a day, but don't make it your 100% your hydration.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I'm absolutely guilty on this because I used to be addicted to Diet Coke to a point of like, I would drink a lot of it, a lot throughout the day. But then kids started to get bigger and they were like, oh, I want Coke. And I was like, ew.
You're a bad influence.
I was like, no, that's not for kids.
That's my problem.
And did you know? Yeah, exactly.
I don't want you to have my problem.
And I say, like, guys, no, like you're too small for this. Like Coke is for adults, you know. And then for a while you can brush them off. But then, you know, when they kind of get to an age when they can just reach it.
You lead by an example.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, so I either start hiding my Coke as some addict, you know. And just hide my Coke anywhere where the kids can't find it. Or I acknowledge and practice what I preach and tell them Coke is not healthy. And okay, mommy, so why are you drinking? You know, like I would still buy Coke occasionally. We would have it at home if someone's coming over or I have in a weekend. I'm like, do you know what? I'm just going to grab a Coke and that's it. So we still have things here and there, but I need to make sure that what I'm showing my kids is something I'm doing. So I won't be telling them, like same way as, for example, it's a silly example, but probably you're going to get what I'm trying to say is that if I would turn around and say to my kids, you can't have tattoos. But mommy, you have like 3-4 tattoos. Oh yeah, but you can't have. You know, like what's the message I'm sending?
Or you're smoking cigarettes and telling them you can't smoke cigarettes.
Exactly. It's you know, it's fake. It is fake. They see me doing something and they don't do what I tell them. They do what they see.
Yeah.
They don't copy what like, oh, my mommy said I need to say thank you. No. But if they see me saying thank you to other people, they will learn to say thank you. So kids are genuinely copying everything we do. Everything. All our behaviors, everything. So if they see me eating an apple, they're going to eat apple. If they see me sitting down with a big bag of chocolate, they're going to sit down and eat the big bag of candies. And some people now, I'm not a magic mother, don't get me wrong. I'm not keeping them only on raw fruits and vegetables and all that. Like my kids eat sweets and they all do in moderation. But my kids would turn around, my 3-year-old, and he would ask for an apple. He would ask for a banana. He would ask for some strawberries. So it's not always like, oh, I just want candies. I want lollipop. I want jellies. No. So they kind of see that we always have fruits at home. I'm always eating fruits. I'm always eating vegetables. My little one loves green beans. which is very weird because I used to hate green beans until very recently. And he sits down with me. I steam them on a bit of butter, put some cheese on it, and then we eat our green beans. And then he's even asking for green beans, you know. And then for some people, it's weird, but I'm actually happy that I have a child who, he loves his pizza, he loves his McDonald's, obviously. Every child does. And I think it would be wrong if I would never bring them to McDonald's or to never give them pizza. But on the other hand, 90% of their nutrition is spot on. So they're allowed to have that 10% of sweets, candies, or as they call it, what does he call it? My older one, he calls it trash food. That's what my 5-year-old calls
food.
it. No, he calls it trash food. But they're allowed because the more you try to stop them and deny them, that can backfire to you big time when they're older and when they're facing it. When they're going to go to school and all the kids going to eat the sweets, they're not going to be able to stop. And that's what me and a couple of my friends were talking, that we have sweets at home. They're accessible. I have crisps, I have crackers, I have oat bars, granola bars, whatever. It's all accessible. So they can make their choices. And most of the times they make good choices. Whereas if I don't have anything and I go to a friend's house, they're going to eat a whole bowl of chocolate because, oh my God, what is this? This is tasty. You know? And then when they grow up, they leave the nest. And then what choices they're going to make?
Well, whatever they are, basically, if they have addiction on sugar, I have a slightly different opinion, and it's because I was sugar addict, and it was reinforced by the fact that the sugar was easily available where I lived. So, in my opinion, if somebody can control themselves and have a balanced diet and casually they have these sweets, but if somebody is really in a huge need and they shake when they don't have it and they have a problem and they're building really excessive addiction, then having it at home will not help them.
Oh yeah, no, that's,
or
I agree.
When you already realize your kids got fat because they were eating too many sweets, and you realize, okay, we have to fix this.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
It's really important, I think, to manage and recognize addictions when they would miss a meal, but they would go sweets first and then they don't eat proper nutrition. So then they're missing essential amino acids, essential fatty acids. They don't have enough good nutrients, enzymes, minerals, vitamins. And then their immune system is not good. Their moodiness, they are irritated. They start brain fog. They don't focus in school, and suddenly things going down.
And you know what? I actually had a period of that when shortly after my son's diagnosis, because when your child is sick, you want to make up for everything bad for him and then for his brother as well, you know. And I had that, and he's on the insulin pump, so he's basically, when I give him the insulin, he can eat whatever he wants. So it was every shopping, every day, a bit of candy, a bit of ice cream, a bit of this, a bit of that. And then I was wondering, like, why my kids are so hyped? Why are they always jumping? Why are they always running? I couldn't think of anything.
Sugar.
And we had problems in preschool of pushing other kids and all these things. And I was like, where does he even see it? You know, I was so mortified. I was like, that's not something we do at home. Like, how? And then I was thinking. I was like, well, what could be the reason? Sugar. And then I was like, no, it has to be sugar.
It is.
And I just wrote the line there.
Especially when they're young, very small.
When they're small, only a small amount. And then they're like
on drugs, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy, yeah.
Absolutely. They go off the walls completely because it just triggers something in their little brain. And you know, their body is so much smaller than ours.
Yeah, it's
so
concentration.
you eat a Twix and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. They eat a Twix and they're like, they're gone.
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, it was it last year in summer? Yeah, I think so. My brother came with his son to visit me, and a little one was 5. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't even remember now. And he had Skittles when they were coming from the airport. And little one, Thomas, he was unhinged.
Oh no,
he was
Skittles?
crazy.
No.
He was bouncing all over the place, and we even went to eat so much sushi, and even like 2-3 hours later he was hyper and doing mess. He couldn't just sit still.
No.
He was just
absolutely.
And I think that the thing is, if you want to give them treats, give them after a good meal of whatever carbs, fat and protein and fiber to stabilize it. So the thing is, if there's empty stomach and you give them something like pure sugar that is no fat in it, let's say even Twix or Snicker bar, any of those, they have a bit of peanut butter, they will stabilize the sugar.
Yeah.
So they will not be as aggressive and not also as inflammatory. So being able to time it, I say, okay, you can have a little bit after the meal, but having it on empty stomach.
No, not a hope. No. And
if you want to have a piece at the home, especially.
And that's the thing, like Skittles, like my kids know, like I'd say chocolate bar, fair. Ice cream, ice lollies, okay. But when it comes to Skittles, they know, like, no, I'm allergic to Skittles. Like, I never buy them Skittles or jellies. Jellies, no. I just Skittles, jellies, and lollipops. These three, like, you could throw me out the window. I don't like them. And if someone is buying them, I'm like, why? With chocolate, absolutely. I love those little ones. I buy them in Lidl. They're like small ones, minis. It's almost like Twix, Mars, Bounty, whatever, just a mix. And they can have one after a meal, absolutely. Or even if we're going out to the park, I have like a little chocolate bar with me. I have rice crackers. So I'm trying to, even when we're out, trying to make sure that I'm not bringing all the junk out. And I see loads of kids like eating jelly beans and all these things. And I'm like, they'd be so hyped. They'd be so hyped. Like, my kids are hyped even without eating any sugar. They have so much energy. And if I give them too much sugar, I just know instantly that I'm regretting it. And it's the same for adults, I guess. It's the same thing. That some people, as you said, sparing all calories just so you can eat your sweets. It's grand. You're probably going to lose weight. But then, will you still be healthy?
Yeah, I mean, we need nutrients from the food to nurture all of our essential needs.
Exactly.
So there are essential components of nutrition, which is the amino acids and the fatty acids.
Yeah.
So proteins and fats are essential. That means the body cannot produce it, so we have to supply it through our diet. If we don't have them, they're essential. Something will be missing, and eventually
your nervous system, your brain, like
health consequences. And same for vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. They're essential as well. So we can't produce them. We have to take it from food or supplements.
Exactly, but again, supplements. The name, supplement.
Well, the main thing here, I think, is to do blood tests.
Yeah, 100%.
Every so often, every maybe a year or two, to do regular checkup.
Every year, easily.
Because like, for example, I started eat more red meat, more steaks, and my iron got quite high. It was still in a sort of healthy, but it was just getting a little bit on a high scale. So keep an eye on not to eat too much of beef, for example.
And then another thing is, with the blood test, you can see where you're standing, vitamin wise. Like, they can do, now I don't know because my GP doesn't do it, but in hospitals, they do all the vitamins you have.
I think GP should be able to do a blood test for you.
I usually have to get the vitamin D done in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, they don't take vitamin D in my GP. It's probably just my GP. But they don't take vitamin D, for example, or B12, B6, like all these vitamins. But the thing is that what we need to understand, everyone, is we don't just eat broccoli because it's healthy. We don't just eat spinach because my coach, my trainer, my almighty said so. No, we eat it for ourselves because it has iron, it has calcium, it has vitamin K. We don't eat carrot because it's orange or it's tasty with hummus. It has beta carotene in it, which is good for your eyes, for your skin, for your hair, your nails. And then once you start to understand why whole ingredients in your diet play a huge role in how you're feeling, you're going to realize that you don't probably even need those supplements.
Yeah.
Because those people who training vigorously a lot, 2-3 workouts a day, very heavy workouts, 100% they need supplementation. 100%, because there's not a chance they can eat enough of everything to replenish what they're empty out. But for an average person like myself, once my nutrition is fine, I do not need to supplement anything. When my blood results come back okay, and when I know that I'm feeling okay, I don't need supplementation. because I know that my nutrition has the vegetables, it has the meat, it has the carbs, it has the fats. Now, the only thing, I don't eat fish. So I can use chia seeds, for example, for my omega-3. Or, not flaxseed, linseed. I always mix the two together.
Yeah.
So I can use those seeds. Or I can eat walnuts to make up for the fish I'm not eating. You know, it's just to understand that it's not a hobby. It's not a weight loss. It's not just a...
Science project.
Yeah, it's not just a fun thing to fit in a dress. It is a lot more. It is about your health. And your health is your wealth. And loads of people like, oh, but why would I need a trainer when I have Instagram? Do you even read on Instagram? No, you see the picture, like, oh, grand. And you move on with your life. And a trainer is great for someone who needs accountability. Who needs, and this is what I was trying to say. You remember when I forgot what I was about to say?
Yeah, go for it.
Is the priorities.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Is the priorities. To prioritize your long-term goal, your long-term health over your short-term little pleasure of eating a chocolate bar. So if my long-term plan is to look a certain way, to compete in something, to lose weight, to fix my low iron levels with eating more meat, or to reduce my iron levels, if these are my long-term goals, unfortunately, I need to give up on some short-term pleasures.
Of course.
And that's the sacrifice not many people want to make. And then they drop the long-term goal of like, oh, I'll try again tomorrow. But then that can go into a vicious cycle, really, of like, there's always a tomorrow until there's no tomorrow. And that's something we often forget, that we're only here for a limited amount of time. And that's why we need to make the most out of it. And if we don't take care of our health and you think like, oh, healthy food is expensive, a personal trainer is expensive, a nutritionist is expensive, try to pay your hospital bill. Like when I was hospitalized, I was charged €750. For A&E charges, for bed charges, this, that, and the other, €750 for a week. Well, what's expensive then?
So imagine you have to spend 1 month.
And imagine if I would have paid €100 for a coach. And he would have told me, listen, girl,
don't be silly.
You're very cute, but like you're destroying yourself and you're going to end up in hospital. Do you know?
Yeah.
And then that's the time when you think like, oh, probably it's actually not that expensive. If you think about it, when you have to go down every month to the pharmacy, pay for your heart medication, pay for your blood pressure medication, loads of things, you know. We're young. So for us, it's like, it's old people problem. But old people had been young once, and we're going to be old once if we're lucky enough.
We feel lucky enough.
You know, and that's something like what we do now is going to come back to us in 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And it does matter.
Of course. In 7 years, we have allegedly no stem cell. Everything is replaced within 7 years. So I think even when people thinking like, 30, I'm 40, it's too late to change. It's like your lungs will be completely brand new within 7 years. Like every cell will be replaced with a new one. So, you know, like you will literally fix your lungs within 7 years. So it's not late.
So are you too old? Are you too lazy and too comfortable?
I wonder what makes people this sort of more disciplined, stronger minded. What makes people that character of, okay, I'm going to get things done? Because I see people who even, you know, someone who doesn't want to change, even though they're someone who is, let's say, close to 80 years old, wealthy. So they have established business and still working at that age, but not prioritizing health, not drinking enough water, drinking too much wine, getting drunk every day, eating fried foods, even though they have health scares, problem with joints, cancer, maybe skin cancer. Why some people don't change when they have all this information from doctors telling them, hey, you should change.
Comfort. Because
and even though knowing that maybe 2 years later they will die, they still don't change. And they have so much, they build such a great life in a way that you know. Wouldn't it be
because-
worth it to spend have extra 10, 15 years?
But they probably think like, oh, I won't be here for long, so I want to have a good time and do what I enjoy.
Well, I mean, that's true as
you know,
well.
like this is all I can think of, because I had a health scare, a very big health scare, I think 2 years ago. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? I have 2 kids. I need to change things around, because this is not going to go down well. And then luckily I came out very well out of it. So touch wood, I'm just going back controls and everything is monitored and
so
under
what
control.
did you learn due to that experience?
Smoking, for example, like cigarettes, I can't stand them anymore. I used to smoke a lot.
Congratulations.
Oh, a lot. Now I still vape sometimes, and I know it's no good, but I'll admit to it, you know. But smoking cigarettes was one of the things which I had to give up. And when I did, my blood results improved, which was obviously what we were looking for. Now, they're still not perfect. Still like medication, still monitoring, coming back, visits, blood tests, you name it. But it did wake me up. It did wake me up big time. I was like, wow, like things need to change. Things need to change, and they need to change quickly. And when I said to everyone was kind of scared, and I was like, no, it's fine. It's good. I needed this. And I think trauma, whether it's family, relationship, private life, work, any kind of trauma, can be a great ignite for anyone to start a lifestyle change. Because that's the moment when you snap out into reality and you think like, oh God, that is not infinite. Nothing lasts forever. So like, when, if not now? And I think as much as traumas are labeled bad, they really are now to a certain level. Don't misinterpret it. But to a certain level, they are essential for our growth. Personally, psychologically, physically, in all way possible. We need them. We need the bad experiences because we need to learn from them. And we need to take them on board and then make a decision of standing up, moving forward and become stronger. This was that's how I got into fitness myself, of like gaining loads of weight. Now, I didn't get into the healthiest way ever, but that's what pushed me in. That's what pushed me in, and that's what moved me forward. And when I came from Hungary to Ireland, I wasn't in the gym. And I think after 3 weeks, I was like, I need to go to the gym. And I just found the closest gym in Google Maps, and I just signed up and straight away I was in, and I felt so much better already, because after work or before work, there was a 24-hour gym and I was a flight attendant. So I was having like crazy morning shifts, like getting up at 3 a.m. And I'm an awful sleeper. Like I can't wake up in the morning. And I used to go for a nap, wake up around midnight, get my food ready, go to the gym, went home at like 2:30, 3 a.m., took a shower, got my uniform on, and I went to work, because this was my way, my coping mechanism to keep me awake, to feel better. And I loved it. I loved training at night because the gym was empty. There was like 2-3 people in the whole thing. And it was amazing, you know, and these things, like, you have to do something for yourself. You need to have something. And in gym, in fitness, in sports, the achievements are measurable. Whatever sport you do, they are measurable. They give you a sense of achievement. You can have yourself tiny little small goals. And when you tick a box, you're like, wow, I did it. When you don't do these things, it's very hard to set these everyday goals. Probably it's possible, and because I'm so much into fitness for so long, it sounds impossible for me. And I'm sorry if that's the case. But to me, it's like going in to the gym and like saying, wow, I did not want to come here. I did not want to do the workout, but I did it. And it makes you feel proud and it makes you feel good about yourself. You did something what your future self will be thankful for. And that's something I think not many people realize. So when they think of gym, they think of a place full of perfect people and a very intimidating, very negative environment. Where it's most people go like, oh, I don't belong there. But that's not true. We all belong there because we all going there for the same
It's
reason.
community.
Yeah. We have the same goal. And our same goal is not to go in and ridicule someone else. Our goal is to work on ourselves.
And support others as well, be friendly.
Exactly. And I found great people throughout the gyms, gym communities, even like online fitness communities. So many support, so many kindness, so many nice messages, loads of ideas, loads of tips. It's brilliant. And I would 100% recommend anyone to join the gym. But one thing to keep in mind, if you join a gym and you don't like the staff, you don't like the atmosphere, just leave and find another gym. Because that is going to give you a very bad imprint inside you, in your brain. And you will associate gym with a bad experience. And that's going to throw you off. So you go for a trial day. I encourage everyone, every gym is having like free trial days. Go get a free trial day, have a chat with the trainers, see what kind of people they go in there. And if it's your vibe, then you feel like, wow, that's somewhere I want to belong. Or if you go there and like, I don't know, there's something about the atmosphere, there's something about the staff, there's something about the people, they're really not vibing with me, then you can say like, okay, thank you. I've been there, I've done that, and just keep looking.
I spilled myself. It's all right.
Nice one.
It's okay.
But yeah, so there's not everything perfect. There's not everything perfect, but there's always more options. There's loads of options for everything if someone really wants to change. But again, as I said at the beginning, that it has to come from the inside.
Yeah. I want to add to this because I think lots of people don't realize what we should be doing and different benefits, fitness and health benefits, energy systems benefits, or modalities of training benefits. So, what do we need? Like humans, what do we need? So, functionally, to operate at optimal level as a body, we need the muscles, we need strength, we need cardiovascular fitness, endurance, we need good posture. So certain muscles need to be also with endurance to keep our posture for a whole day, or if there's activities we need to do so. Even having mobility aspects of training. So I always tell people, warm up, do some mobility, stretches.
Of course.
Maybe post-workout. So even just the fact that you come there for a mixture of cardio and weight, because we need cardio for different reasons to what we need muscle building and strength conditioning for, because the heavier we lift, more bone mass conditioning. For muscle building, they say it's around 5 to 30 reps in a set for muscle building. So it could be a heavy set of 5 or 8 reps, or it could be actually 30 reps with lighter weights, and still stimulates the same amount of muscle growth. But the thing is, what do we need? And I actually find out as I'm getting older, I'll be 42 this week in 3 days actually.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'll be 42. And I realized that the heavier weights are injuring me. If I go like really hard, and I kind of even enjoy pushing it, but my body doesn't enjoy the results of it. And I realized if I have slightly lighter weights, 20-30% lighter, and I do 12 to 16 reps, and I do 20 to 40 seconds recovery, or maybe I do 2 exercises back to back like a superset, I feel actually better. I don't get as much tendinitis, and my muscles feeling good. And I still can grow the muscles. So why would I lift super heavy weights where I almost every time I find out like, actually, you know what?
Exactly.
I'm hurting myself.
No, this is going to sound very funny. Don't judge. But for your age, really, you don't need that much of a strength. You don't really that much power.
For the lifestyle we have these days.
Yeah, but like this 1-2 rep.
Yeah, that's ego mostly, isn't it?
It's great. Like you can increase your strength, you can increase your power with the higher weights and the lower reps. But what we really need, normal average people, is a bit of endurance, a bit of hypertrophy. We need loads of mobility. And I never considered mobility. When someone said mobility, I was like, yoga. Okay, cool. It's just not me. It's not in my bones.
But we still need that.
But we do need that,
It's when you start losing it, when you start losing mobility and your knees are sore, your back is sore.
Like my hips, My hips are always sore, always. And I found since I'm doing my home workouts now, that's coming up to almost 6 months that I'm solely doing home workouts. I'm not going to gym because kids are off school. It's just very hard to manage everything. And you know, with a home workout, I do it like 40 minutes, 1 hour, half an hour, whatever time I have. But it did actually improve my body composition a lot more than the past, let's say, year and a half in the gym.
Why is that so? You changed to more cardio, more circuits?
Yeah. So I'm doing more high interval training. I'm doing a lot more Tabata trainings. This is what I'm focusing on. And within them, I'm still doing like kind of calisthenic exercises as well. So like full body weight exercises. I'd still do like squats, but I would do squat jumps. I would do burpees. So I'm still keeping my strength. But then my endurance got so much better. Like I remember the first time when I did it at home, I don't even know what brought me in it. Like don't ask me the question. But the first time I've done home workout, I was like, what the heck was this? Why did I just do that? And it was 20 minutes. And I thought I'm going to spit my lungs out. And then the most I've done was like 75 minutes of HIIT training. And I was like, I never imagined that I can do that.
That's a lot, 75 minutes.
Exactly. And it's great because it's a huge challenge for me. And I feel like, wow, I just did it. Me, who hated cardio in my entire life. But HIIT training is brilliant because it does work your muscles. It works your strength. It works your endurance. It's cardiovascular as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's kind of a great mixture of everything. Now, obviously, if someone wants to compete, if someone is bulking, I don't recommend to do a 40 minutes HIIT workout at home. But if someone is tight with time, if someone doesn't have the money to join the gym, because it can be very pricey, if someone doesn't have the resources to buy weights for home, or
bands,
or machines,
bands
or
cheaper.
bands, or whatever.
But bands are like €20 for a set.
Yeah, but even without them, you can make great improvements.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
I always tell people, even if you travel, if you go for holidays, gravity works.
Yeah.
Do you have floor? Do you have park?
Yeah.
Do you have any space you can be?
Yeah.
Squats, lunges, jumps, push-ups, core.
This is it.
There you go.
Like at home, I do record everything in my small room. It's a tiny little room. And it's just to show people that you don't need a big gym. You don't need a squat rack. You can do magic at home.
Yeah.
If you set your mind on it. And I think that's my biggest message I want to get across is that you don't need to be perfect. Because it's enough if you're good enough. You know, if you want to get better, you can be better by yourself. You don't need anyone else to tell you, to guide you. But that's, when it comes to support, have you ever been fit shamed before?
I don't think so.
I have. And it's mad. Because when someone walks by and they're big, and you tell them like, oh my God, like look at the size of them. Then people are like, oh my God, you're so mean. And we were on holiday earlier on. And there was a couple walking in front of us. And like we were both training. And they were like, geez, look at these two. And I was like, you know, I was just standing there like, what did I just do wrong? Like I'm on holiday, walking on the street in a short and a top. And I was like, why is that you know, it's just so weird that like some people can be ridiculed for being fit. Or if you go out and you're like, sorry, I'm not drinking. Why?
What's wrong with you?
Why you're not drinking? Are you taking pills? Are you pregnant? No. Okay, so why you're not drinking? You know, there's somewhat of a pressure from society that like, if you're eating clean and you watch your health, you're a weirdo.
You know, I have also saying that if you follow the crowd, you be one of the statistics. What all the statistically having the obesity, the weight, the being overweight, having heart issues, having cancers. If you're gonna be one of the crowd, do everything else what the majority is doing, you're gonna be exactly within the statistics what those results are. And well, I would not even pay attention to that. Like if someone is like, What's your problem?
Yeah, but it's just,
But
it's so weird.
Yeah, maybe, some people get intimidated by hardworking people, if they are a bit of failures and they kind of blame the world, victim attitudes. It's not very comfortable for people reminding other people their weaknesses.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Some people would get defensive, but that's not your problem. And in many ways, many people will get inspired. And actually, you know what? I remember in 2011, I was in Lake Garda. I was there with a friend, and I was doing a bunch of years of cycling, and I got really skinny.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember that.
Yeah, you do. So I got really skinny, and basically, there was this one guy on the beach running. I'm not a gay or anything, but I seen this guy, I'm like, wow. Like, I look at his shape when he was running, I was like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And then, a few years later, I'm like that.
Yeah,
But it was that inspiration because I've seen someone fit, and I really liked the way he looked, the fit, the musculature, the definition, and the overall vibrancy and the health, And I'm like, I want to be like that. And since then, I started to implement more gym workouts because there's a huge disadvantage of doing cardio only. It's a muscle loss.
You can't build muscle.
You burn your muscle mass.
Yeah.
So if you do too much cardio, if you have fast metabolism, if you don't eat enough, you start to be skinny.
Yeah, of course.
And so I realized I just need to eat more of the good stuff and do at least 1 or 2 gym sessions a week. I can still do my cardio, but changing proportions, not to do just predominantly cardio. And straight ahead body composition changes.
Yeah, but that's, again, I think that's individual, probably maturity, I would call it, to step out of the victim mentality.
And I was 30 years old, 29, 30 years old. So it's it's never too late.
Because when I was a kid...
For anyone who wants to change, even if you're 40, it's not too late.
Oh, yeah.
In 4 or 5 years, you could be in amazing shape, even if you have a big belly now.
Yeah, of course. And I remember when I was a kid... Back then, that's when bodybuilding all started, in the early 2000s. That was when it all started,
Come on, we
coming
had it in
up
90s.
Speak on your behalf. But anyway, so, there was all these magazines and models, and I was like, wow, they look so nice. I want to be like one of them, and I always had that. I never believed in myself. Don't get me wrong. I never did. And I never believed, even on show day of my first competition, I was just looking in the mirror. I was like, how did this happen? What am I doing? Why am I standing here in this bling bling bikini and high heels? And how's that little ugly girl from primary school got into an Irish national stage and tan and everything? It was such an unbelievable moment for me. And then I still, I always had it in the back of my head. But for some people, including myself before, self-doubt is killing everything. Self-doubt is something if you have it, you need to work very, very hard for a very, very long time. And you need to have the perfect people around you to support you and put you out of it. Because it's easy to find people who don't want good for you. It's easy to find people who are jealous and they just drag you down. And then when you find someone who inspires you and motivates you, then you get scared. And you're questioning, why would they motivate? What is wrong with them? Why would they want to deal with me? What do they see? And then slowly you start to change your own beliefs. And you're challenging all your negative thoughts about yourself. And this is how bit by bit you can build up a little bit of confidence. That's more of a psychology side of it. But I think psychology, mental health and physical health just goes hand in hand. No matter what. Even I was studying psychology and there was a research done and it showed that people with depression who are prescribed antidepressant medication can only avail of the full effect of the antidepressant and anti-anxiety medications when they do physical exercise. That's the effect of exercise on your brain, which is, again, very neglected because big shoulders, big biceps, and a nice butt sounds much better. than a happy mental health. Whereas when you go to bed on your own or with your partner or whatever, with your kids, you don't care about your biceps or your bum or your legs. You're alone with your thoughts. And when your thoughts are not fine, nothing's going to be fine. And that's, again, rarely spoken about. How
mental health,
the mental health of even athletes. Like if you go to a gym, you go to the biggest guys ever, and you ask them, how did you get in it? Depression. Escape. There was a saying, it is Hungarian, but like to vaguely translate it, it says that if you make an animal out of yourself, you get rid of the pain of being a human. And that's what many bodybuilders feel. You know, when they smash the weights, when they're pushed to their absolute limits, you're defeating their inner demons. And again, bodybuilding specifically because I was a bodybuilder. I am in the gym for some level, exercising. But for fitness people, this is a very big thing. It's the mental part of it. Because if you put your brain in it, you achieve a lot more than when you just go there and do like 4 bicep curls
Constantly
and like,
distracted
okay,
by the
my
phone.
biceps are perfect. You know, when I sip a Monster and I send 2 selfies and then, you know, workout done. Yeah, but then when you don't have your phone, you just put your music, you have your headphones, you ignore your phone for that 1 hour of a workout and you're just focusing on the muscle. You're just focusing, feeling your own heartbeat. That's when you know you're doing the best job ever.
Yeah.
But that has to come, again, from inside, from your brain.
By the way, speaking of that previous topic with the mental strength, mental health, Jordan Peterson had some line saying that it's important to become monster.
Yeah.
Because he said, like, we need to become strong and then learn how to control it, because the world is not a nice place. There will be other people basically using you. If they see predators seeing you as weak, can manipulate people, use them up, you know. And he said one line saying it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. 100%. It's kind of like prepare yourself for the hard times.
Yeah.
So you kind of take this sort of mental, emotional, physical aspect of yourself and you're building yourself up. So I am a big believer in personal development as well, because there's lots of great coaches and teaching you the mindset, the strength, and also to acknowledge the weaknesses. Yeah. And as well, I come up from a background, as a child, I had huge confidence issues. I always thought if somebody called me some authority, I did something wrong. Yeah. You know, always like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
you know, always
it's like when someone says, I need to talk to you, and you straight away like.
But plus, you know, like a very hostile kind of environment as well. Mm-hmm. People around, you know, alcoholism and stuff like that. So you kind of realize, like, who am I in this world? So me as a child, I felt vulnerable. So for me, if I had a chance to start doing martial arts and gym, that was for me empowering. Yeah. You know, and I think it has to do a lot with my father. Mm-hmm. So it kind of forced me to become stronger, to protect myself against this guy who's supposed to protect me, but it's actually turned out to be, in a way, my enemy. Mm-hmm. You know, so you kind of realize that I have to build myself up so I can defend myself, so I can have a space in this world where I'm safe finally.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree on that. Like I was doing Thai boxing for a while, and it just gave me so much confidence. You know, like as a girl, you know, I'm boxing. Like you can bully me as much as you want, but I can protect myself. You know, and it gave me a sense of safety. Of like, it doesn't matter what you do, I can protect myself. My physical part was there, but my mental part wasn't. So my mental part was still like, leave me alone, don't hurt me. And then, you know, like a lot of people in our generation just became like people pleasers, really. Because we just don't want any inconvenience. We don't want trouble. We just want to stick in our own lane.
Most people are not brave
and
or courageous. They're not.
Yeah, and then after a while, you realize that the more people pleaser you are, the more you're disrespecting your own boundaries. And then the more you try to please more people, the less you're helping yourself. And then when you start setting up boundaries, that's when you lose loads of people. When you start saying no, I'm like, whoa, what does she mean no? You know,
Knowing
of
your
like,
values.
or like even with coaching, you know, it's like I do help people. I always did. Like even before I was qualified, I did my best to help my friends and whatever. But when someone's trying to make a living, you can't expect them to do everything for free. Do you know?
Well, yeah, people have to understand that you as well have to pay bills.
Yeah.
That you're not privileged one who's sitting
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
family fortune, and that you don't have any.
I don't have my palace just back home in Hungary. Like I just sold it. You know,
people have to realize that also we need to make income as well, and that like not everything we do, should involve income. There's quite a noble aspect of helping people without expecting them. So even just to encourage someone and motivate them.
Oh, absolutely.
Then,
have 2 nice words. Have a chat. Like my Instagram DMs, they're always open. Anyone is like, I got tons of messages of asking, oh, what do you think? Like sending me recipes, asking questions. And I'm so happy to help. But there is like a limit to it. So like if you have a specific question, by all means. But if like, oh, can you give me a plan for free? It's like,
well, if that person just go Gemini AI and ask exactly the same question, we just get a good answer, Like
and
these days,
like that's the thing, like with AI, you just go to ChatGPT and you throw it in like, oh, give me a weight loss meal plan, and you just put the details,
Simple.
and it's gonna give you that. But then, will ChatGPT hold you accountable? Is my question. Because the coaches, for people, they think if they have a personal trainer, it's like, how much would be to have a plan? Well, I can give you a plan for €20. Like I sit down, I type in like 5-10 exercises and off you go. But the point of a coach and the point of a trainer is to work in a prolonged period of time. You get to know each other. They almost become your accomplice to a certain extent. And then you help each other. And it gives you a support. It gives you accountability. It also understands when you have a bad day, when you're coming down with a virus, when you injure yourself. A good trainer will never bang on your door or like, stop simulating, you just have a broken ankle, go do your workout. Because when I was running, when I was a sprinter, that was the mentality back in Hungary. I had a banging migraine, and she was like, why are you complaining? You go 1 more K. And that's it. Like I had to run 1 more K with a banging headache. Mm. It's like, it is what it is. But when you do a sport, you do learn discipline. With every sport you do, discipline is a key. And it's the hardest thing. Because you get motivated when you start. When you start your weight loss or weight gain journey or bulking journey, and you see that the scale is going up or down or whichever direction you want, you're like, wow, this is cool. Like this works. And then after 2-3 weeks, it settles. And it doesn't go down 1 kilo a week anymore. It goes down maybe like 600 grams, 400 grams. And then you're like, oh no, this is not working. It is working. It is working. But then you're building muscle at the same time. So your body weight might not change so much, but your body composition will. Which is, again, people focusing so much more on the scale than on the image.
And knowing that what you're building, from what I recently actually got into was information where if you want to do muscle building program or if you want to do the weight loss program, that the smoother, the more gradual, the more longer term, it's better than shockingly high calories. So if people actually start bulking, we only need 100 to 200 calories extra to our needs with higher protein as well. And sometimes when people go 1,000 calories extra, there's just a huge amount of fat they build for no other beneficial strength or recovery or muscle building. Same with the weight loss. Like if you do, let's say 200, 300, 400 calories deficit and you did more long term, it's not going to be such shock and you're not going to lose as much muscles. But then if you do, let's say, okay, eat cabbage one day and you have 2,000 calories deficits, that's such a shock that muscles are starting to break down. So now I have a question for you. You're really good with nutrition. I actually always look at your recipes on Instagram and little tips, preparations. So give us some tips on how to manage the nutrition, especially you're a busy mom with 2 kids. How you manage the nutrition, and also what are your bases for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks? What would that be and why?
Okay. So I do intermittent fasting. So I'm the worst person to ask regarding breakfast. However, I do prepare breakfast. And I'd say some bread, bagel. I love bagels. Now, I do most of my shopping in Lidl because I found that's very close to me.
Good value.
And they have very good value, very good prices, and very good discounts. So what I always have, I just actually recorded my latest grocery shopping, and I'm planning to post it one of the days. I always buy loads of fresh vegetables, loads of them, because I hate throwing out food. So when I see them that they're in the fridge, I cook them, whatever. Now, my best tip for anyone and everyone who had been to a kitchen once, get yourself an air fryer.
Yeah.
Do a favor.
I have it as well.
Get yourself an air fryer. It is life-changing.
Yeah.
I can cook any meals in an air fryer. I have, I think it's a hot pot or something along those lines. I have this multi-cooker. Anyway, it's the same price as an air fryer, and it cooks you soup. You save so much. Like, I have gas at home, and the gas bills are crazy. So I'm cooking soup in them. I'm baking in them. I'm air frying everything. And it's so much healthier because you don't use oil. You save so much calories on oil that it's insane. So back to breakfast. Breakfast, I can just take what I usually give to the kids, kind of. I suppose they're eating normal anyway. So they love bagels. So bagel with turkey rashers, turkey sausages. They're brilliant if you like your rashers and you like your sausages, but you want to lose weight, lose body fat, because they're a lot lower on calories. They're still very tasty. They still give you the same satisfaction. So there's not really much difference compared to a regular sausage and a regular rasher in terms of taste. But nutritionally, they're a lot more beneficial than you.
They're leaner.
A lot less fat. Now, sausage, I don't know. It's processed.
Processed meat.
So it is not clean meat. However, if you are to choose sausage for breakfast, choose the turkey one, choose the chicken ones. They're a little bit better for you. That's it. Eggs, staple items for breakfast, 100%. Because eggs, I know, what are they? No, they're not. They're actually awful for you. They give you high cholesterol, and it's just the worst thing you can eat. No, I'm joking. Eggs are brilliant.
For some people, genetically, some people are very sensitive to cholesterol. So it depends what people's reading of cholesterol are.
Of course, but if you look at the average person who goes to do their weekly shopping, wants to find a healthy breakfast alternative.
Yeah, eggs are great.
Eggs, you can boil them. I love boiled eggs, cracked up with a bit of butter, chopped up some green onion, a bit of mustard, salt, pepper, put them on a toast. Amazing. I like fried eggs, or sometimes I just whisk the eggs and put them. I got them this air fryer liners. They have like different shapes and sizes and whatever. And I just throw through 2-3 slices of turkey rashers, throw them in the air fryer for 10 minutes. That's perfect until I drink my coffee. And then toast bagels.
I need to check that out.
No, it's very nice.
That sounds good.
And I toast bagels. Now, I buy personally bagel slims, because they have calories as a normal bagel, but you still get your bagel if you're kind of trying to watch what you're eating. Now, if you're a man, obviously get your bagels.
For me, it's like about getting good carbs, good protein. Like every meal I'm looking at, how much protein did I eat today? You know, and trying to, like, some mornings I'm prioritizing quickly leaving apartment, having as long sleep as I can, and then minimizing the eating time, because sometimes I have 1 or 2 clients in the morning, so that means by 11 I'm back home, or 10:30 I'm back home, so that means I can eat properly then. So I would rather sleep longer.
Yeah, so for me, like, the boys are not great sleepers whatsoever. They're up at like silly o'clock every day, but lately they start to sleep until 7. We need to leave the house at 8 to drop the little one to preschool. So we get up, I make my coffee, and then I throw some food for them, get them ready, get their breakfast ready. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not cooking every morning. Sometimes they get a pastry and they're still fine. So again, balance. But yeah, so eggs, bagel, rashers, they're fantastic. Then oats. Oats are brilliant. Overnight oats with a bit of chia seeds, oats, Greek yogurt, berries, banana, peanut butter, you name it. Mix it together to make sure that it works out for you the best. Now, I don't genuinely look at my macros too strictly anymore, because it kind of brings back some triggering memories from competition and post-competition stuff. So I'm more intuitively eating. But I
think that's the key.
Eat everything. Yeah, absolutely.
To have understanding and the kind of big picture. And when you're choosing your meals, you almost like in the behind goes like calculation.
Yeah, like, okay, absolutely. Of like, I had, like, let's say I had a pastry for breakfast, or like 12, 2 o'clock, whenever I get my first meal. So, okay, so I had a pastry. So that's a bit of carb. Okay, so I'm going to have this for lunch.
Quite a lot of carb.
And then I'm going to have a salad for dinner. And then I'm kind of evened out. And I'm still within my 80-20.
Yeah. You know, with the pastry on its own, I just think that the sugar spike and then crash will just basically make people more hungry very soon.
But it's so tasty though. Like, you need to be realistic.
But even so, what I'm trying to say here is that we should get some protein fats with it.
Oh, yeah.
So personally, I like a big glass of milk, full fat milk. So even if I have something which is higher carbohydrate and you add milk, you just add fat and protein. So I would drink half liter milk.
Wow.
And that straight ahead, you have 15 grams of protein right there. And if I eat the carbs, or if I have a tea with honey, the fat and protein in milk stabilizes and slows down the absorption of that honey. So it's kind of like I'm trying to fuel myself kind of more like in instant, quick way. So it's just like boom, boom, and I'm leaving apartment. Or I use milk and protein. Protein powder. So I'm actually trying to get everything that my muscles need for building, repairing, give me energy. I realize personally I'm very sensitive on carbohydrates. If I have when I don't eat enough carbohydrates, I'm having serious brain fog. My mood goes down, my energy goes down. I can really hype myself when I'm with clients. Suddenly I'm coming into the space. I'm like, And it's amazing how when I'm with someone, I'm almost like the habit of years of just trying to stay disciplined and kind of like focusing on being energized. The moment I sit down to the car,
deflate.
And then I need to eat carbs. So I realize as well, like, so even though you say pastry, I mean, on its own, I would say, oh yeah, it's not the best because you're going to be hungry. But sometimes, I think if you exercise, there's a buffer in your muscles to reabsorb the glucose, the glycogen refills. So I think for those, we designed to need the carbohydrates, even though they're non-essential, we still need them. Like brain and muscles run on the glucose. So I think being able to provide the glucose, which is flowing for longer term. So that's why, let's say, if you have a full meal with, let's say, meat, salad, and rice, because there's meat, for example, it will slow down digestion.
There's all 3 macronutrients together.
And that means the release of the glucose will be more gradual and
that's
smooth.
What the balance is
That's what fuels you for 3-4 hours.
Absolutely.
Stable energy and feeling good.
Absolutely. And I don't imagine that like I go every day and just start my day with a croissant or like a Danish pastry or anything like that. But sometimes I do. Like, I'm a human, and sometimes I go to Lidl, do my weekly shopping. I didn't have food. And that chocolate croissant just looks really good, and then like, look, I'm not going for Mr. Olympia this year, maybe next year, who knows? But genuinely, I'm just a normal person. And
so we're talking about having balance there, having something you enjoy as well for the treat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like not to forbid yourself from anything what's nice, but just to have one thing what you like, something what's really you enjoy. Might not be the best for you, obviously, because most things which are good in life are not quite healthy. But what I'm pointing is that it's okay not to eat clean all the time. But you need to make sure that before you do that, the rest of your day is balanced. The rest of your day gives your body whatever your body needs. So, for example, now breakfast so oats. Oats are amazing. I usually put a tablespoon of chia seeds because it's really good for omega-3.
Yeah, fiber.
It's lovely
protein.
for fiber. It helps your digestion issues.
I think 30% is
big time.
protein as well there.
It does have protein. Now, I'm not really watching the the calorie content of it anymore. So I'm trying to eat intuitively. And for the kids as well, like for my older, I need to count his carbs. So even if I don't want to count carbs, I'm counting carbs anyway. So that's why I'm trying to kind of rest my brain when it comes to my food. But yeah, so that's another thing. I love my little protein pancakes, which I have a recipe up from. And it's super simple. You need banana, oats, egg whites. You can use full eggs. It's entirely up to you. And a bit of Greek yogurt. I just blend them up and make them as pancakes. And they're sweet enough from the banana, so you don't need any sugar. They have the oats, which are slow releasing carbs. So they're going to keep you full. It has with the egg whites and the Greek yogurt, they have loads of protein in it. And they also have a bit of fats from the yogurt.
So that's great from breakfast.
So it is perfectly filling. It's amazing. I usually eat it either with berries or a bit of sugar-free jam and Greek yogurt mixed together. So there's loads of varieties. You can put peanut butter if you want.
It would be even good post-workout when you feel like, okay, I just did my workout. Maybe it's morning workout.
Or like we like to eat that as a dessert in the evening time. You know, when you have a nice dinner, you go home, you had a tough week. And you're like, I'm just going to throw together. And it's 15 minutes to make these pancakes. And like yesterday, for instance, we were driving home and like, I want to eat some cheesecake. You know, it's like, there's one particular place in Julianstown who's making the best cheesecakes. And it's a space for an ad, but thanks Besto Kitchen, you're the best. But they're making the best cheesecakes ever. Like if you're around Julianstown, try it out. Amazing. So like, will we drive by? Will we not? And then I was like, I don't know. Now I'm just going to make pancakes. And then we went home. I made the pancakes in 15 minutes. It came out now I doubled it up, obviously, because it was two of us. But it came out like a huge stack of pancakes with berries and jam and yogurt. Now I put a bit of Nutella because...
Why not?
Why not? Exactly. It was Friday. But yeah, we demolished it and I was full for the night. You know, and that's something I really love. I also, with a similar recipe, I make banana bread. Just mash up, like if you have old bananas at home, best thing is mash them with a fork, put some oats in it, mix it together. It has like a very nice, like almost like a soda bread texture at the end. You throw some berries if you want. You can put chocolate chips in it. I usually put chocolate chips for the kids and then they love it. You know, and it's so simple. You don't need a fortune for it because many people say healthy food is expensive.
But it's not.
But it really isn't because it fills you up. So you can buy your junk food and then you can be hungry every 2 hours.
I mean, takeaways are not cheap.
Like when I tell people how much do I spend for 3 of us on groceries a week, they don't believe me. They don't believe that it's actually so cheap. And I'm buying lettuce, tomatoes, cucumber, cheese, feta, yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, beef, pork, you name it. My trolley is always full and I never spend more than €150 for a week. And everything else we need to top up is obviously the milks, the bread, some berries sometimes, you know, because we go through them quick or they get rotten or something, you know. But in general, it doesn't have to cost you like €600-700 weekly to eat healthy. It's just the variety. Because if you go like Lidl, I don't know if Aldi has it, but Lidl definitely does this waste no more boxes. It's like a giant carton box full of vegetables, which are short dated. You pay €3 for them. And there's plenty of good vegetables, fruits in it. You pick one up, even if only half of it is good. You made a bargain. Because they usually do pineapple, orange, broccoli, tender stem, asparagus, cabbage, lettuce, you know. And then we live in the world of internet. You put in the ingredients you have at home and just stick after healthy recipes. And Google will throw out 20 recipes for you. I
mean, the AI with the...
Or AI, whichever you use.
With AI, you can actually talk to it. You don't have to type.
Listen, someone who's on-tech savvy like myself, I'm not going to use AI ever because I'm going to get into an argument with AI. So I stick to my Google because I'm old. But no, jokes aside, like, especially, because a lot of people are into AI. So what is holding you back?
Taking action is different to being curious.
You know,
and you only, to be honest, even with all of that technology, you're only gonna get smart answers if you're gonna ask smart questions.
Exactly.
So actually asking the right question is the crucial, because I think when people are curious about how things work, eventually, I'm a big believer in education for making better decisions, especially if it's about lifestyle, fitness, nutrition, anything to do personal development.
100%.
I mean, we are lucky. We have so much available information and support. So it's easier for people to be high achievers these days. Because it's the path of high achievers being well established, and there is a cue, there is a trait. So there's a characteristics of people that succeeded, like what it is.
But that's the downside of it, isn't it? That everything is so accessible and it's so fast that people want everything so accessible and so fast. They want weight loss to be so fast. They want lifestyle changes to be so fast, so easy. Like type in 1, 2, 3 and that's it.
Their life will show them, the reality will show them their reality.
Exactly,
quickly.
but that's the thing, like we have everything on hand. Like you pick up your phone and you have the whole world in your hand.
Virtual world.
Yeah, but you can contact anyone. You can contact your mom, your dad, the other end of the world. You can Google any question. You can put into ChatGPT or any AI program. They sort your life. Yeah. They do sort your life. So when it comes to like something physical, something in real life, people can't really make difference between the virtual reality and the real reality. And then losing weight is in the real reality. Like virtually, it works perfectly because you just need a 400 or 500 calorie deficit and that's it daily.
Most people already know that it's not easy.
Yeah, but it is not.
So how would you help someone to achieve those goals?
I would 100% tell them to set realistic goals. So there's like an acronym when you're setting goals, the SMART acronym. And I'm not going to go into deep details of what is what, but basically you have to set a goal where it's important for you. You have to name the goal. It has to be attainable for you, so you're able to proceed. So I can have a goal of saying like, oh, by December I want to be 180 kilo pure muscle. That's impossible. That's not going to happen, But if I say, oh, by December I want to put on 2 kilograms of lean muscle, that's probably doable. Or maybe 1.5 is doable. So the goals always need to be realistic. They need to have a meaning to them, need to be personalized. So by setting up goals, like small little goals, we keep our motivation up because we keep achieving these little tiny milestones. And these tiny milestones going to grow into a huge one eventually. And it will. And I've seen a reel, I think on Instagram, a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it was, but credits to them because it's amazing. The guy had like a huge bowl of rice pops in front of him. And he said, imagine this is at weight loss. And he started to take them out one by one. And he was like, that is taking forever, doesn't it? And you feel that it's absolutely pointless. And then he was like, but the more you take out, the less is in a bowl. So you make slow progress, but you do make a progress. So by these little goals, little boxes ticked off daily, weekly, fortnightly, they bring them to the sense of achievement of, wow. So and it doesn't have to be a big goal. It could be like, oh, from tomorrow, I'm going to try to drink 2 liters of water a day. And then after a week, I'm like, wow, it's a week gone and I'm drinking 2 liters every single day. And my digestion is better and I feel so much better and my headache is gone and my skin looks a lot clearer. My nails are a lot, Mm-hmm. It's just these tiny little things which are so small but that important. People don't even think about it, mm-hmm. that it can be a goal. Or let's say, oh, my kid's school is a 20-minute walk. So every day from now on, when it's not raining, I'm going to walk my child to school. Yeah, we're going to have to get up 20 minutes earlier. Yeah, he might need to take a stroller or a scooter or a bike or whatever. But we are going to walk and I'm going to walk back home. That's probably half an hour extra from your day, but you do an exercise. And it's not something you take away time from something else, because you would have drove your kid there anyway, and you would have waited until they go in and you would have drove back home. It just takes an extra 15 minutes longer. And that's all what it is. And I think once we shed light of how little and simple things can make a huge difference, people have this aha moment of like, wow. So that means I don't certainly need to go to gym 6 days a week and eat, I don't know, plain cabbage leaves for the rest of my life. It's even doable for me. And that's where a good trainer and a good coach comes in. And that's why it's important to have one. Because like you can go on any pages and find plenty of like free workouts, free meal ideas, free meal plans. But would they be suitable for you? Would a HIIT workout of 30 minutes, what I'm usually doing, suitable for someone with a knee injury? No, absolutely not. Would they try? Maybe. Who knows? And then they realize that it's not suitable, you know? But when you have a coach, when you have a trainer, you have a partner in crime. And you have someone who tailors everything to your personal needs, to your work schedule, to your family life, to your lifestyle, to your likes. I can put up a recipe with chicken and someone who's vegan or vegetarian. What are they going to do with my chicken casserole? You know, nothing. That's why you have to have a coach to make sure that it's tailored 100% for you. Because the only way you can have your goal achieved fully is when you put all your effort in it.
So accountability as well.
Absolutely.
That's a big one. I think having that company there, booking your session, and some people find boring, going to the gym boring, maybe intimidating.
Yeah.
So for me, my business especially kickstarted during the lockdowns. Mm-hmm. Gyms were closed.
Of course.
People were desperate to train. They all gain weight. Mm-hmm. They all start to feel terrible mentally. So straight ahead, I got lots of text messages. Oto, can you train me?
Yeah.
I know there are lockdowns, but can we do online sessions?
Yeah.
Then eventually it kind of eased up and was training in the backyards, in living rooms.
Of course.
And next thing I realize I'm self-employed.
And you know what? It's very nice, actually. It might be not nice for the first occasion, but it could be a very good motivator. And anyone I asked, they hated the idea. And with the fire and water, they were fighting against it. Sorry.
Escaping the microphone.
I am. I'm running away. The transformation pictures. Yeah. The before pictures.
It's important.
They are the biggest kick in the butt. Because you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see. You don't look at your stomach. You don't look at your leg. You don't like the cellulite on your arms because you don't want to see it. But when a coach asks you, like, take a picture of yourself in a short and a sports bra or just an underwear for a man. And then you look at it and you're like, Jesus Christ. And loads of times like, I don't know, how did I let myself get to this point? And then, you know, they have this like, not embarrassment, but kind of embarrassment, but more for themselves of like, I let this happen to my body. I disrespected myself so much to let this happen to me. And then they're sending the pictures week in, week out. And then after like 4 or 5 weeks, you put the two photos together. And they're like, wow. And then the scale might only be gone down 2 kilos in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And if you tell someone like, oh, I lost 2 kilos in 5 weeks, they'd be like, what is that? You know, like, that's ridiculous. That's nothing. But then you put the two pictures together and they're like, wow, it works. So that's a great motivator, is to tell someone, it's like, take a picture in your underwear. You know, and then they'll be like, oh, but I don't want to because I don't like how I look in the mirror. And like, well, there you go. There's your motivation.
See, I never done this before.
No?
No, I never would. Not even one client. I say, it's not my style.
Yeah.
It's not my style. They could do it for themselves, obviously, if they want to. I recommend weighing themselves so they can see if there's some changes. But
see, for weights is a very tricky one, especially for women. Like, we have our cycles, we have our periods going on, most of us anyway. And like, I weigh probably even 2 kilos more before my period, you know? And then if someone who's already scared and already intimidated and already shy and don't want to do something wrong, to step on a scale and say like, oh, I was 56 kilo and now I'm 58. You know, I must have done something wrong. And then they beat themselves up.
I think the thing is the averaging weeks.
Yeah.
And then when you average the weeks, you can see the trend
And
line.
it's not really linear either.
You can see the trends going over the weeks and months.
And that's what I put up the post as well a couple of days ago about my weight. Of like, I woke up in the morning, I think it was like 56.1. And then by the evening, it was 58. I did not gain 2 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I did not gain 2 kilos in a day. In the gist of 8-9 hours. It's impossible.
Yeah, it fluctuates.
I know it's water. I know it's that I need to go to pee. I know that I had a big dinner. You know, like I know what is going on. But not many people do know. Because an average, I didn't know that when I was starting the whole thing.
So it can be frustrating for some people.
It can be scary.
Some people don't want to see the weight either. Yeah. But I find over longer periods of time, people kind of become kind of compliant, kind of easy about things. And then they just need to refocus. So every so often, I just remind people again, don't forget your goals. Don't forget what you wanted half a year ago, that we still have lots of work to do. Yeah. You still need to discipline yourself. So don't, every so often I remind my clients as well, like, hey, are you willing to work harder? Are you willing to step up now? I think you're ready,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another thing nowadays, obviously, we both know the age we're living in. So if you as a male coach would ask a female take a picture in your underwear, they'd be like, what a perv. So it's like, again, there's like certain limitations. And I probably wouldn't ask a male to send me a picture in your underwear.
I guess if you have someone of your age group,
but then
it's different too.
Between women, it's again different because we feel a lot more understanding and confident between each other with these things, because like a woman will always understand a woman more than a man would understand a woman. And it goes vice versa. And then I had a client and she was like, oh, I'm still at the same weight and my period is due. And I was like, well, there you go. Of course. And then her period is gone and she was down 1 kilo. Because when you have your period, your body's holding on to so much water, so much fluid, so much extra. Because what happens is your body's preparing for pregnancy, which doesn't happen. So all the extra, which was you gained before your period, is going to be let go of. So that's another thing which not many people talk about. For women, it's weight gain and weight loss is very complex. Or loads of people like, oh, I hate my lower tummy. That's your uterus. That's an organ. You can't hate your lower tummy. Yeah, if you have like 20 extra kilos, I understand. But for organs, I have my uterus as well. I'm a woman too. And to say like, oh, my mommy pouch. And like, it's not always a mommy pouch. You have to understand that you have your internal organs and they do need space. And just because you see someone has a flat tummy on the pictures or when they flex their core when they're exercising, it doesn't mean that they're walking around with a flex tummy. I never do.
Yeah, if you want to be walking relaxed, you're not going to be tensing your abs.
Exactly. And everyone's going to have a belly. And there's nothing wrong with having 1, 2, 3, 4 kilos extra on. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But if someone, and I ask everyone who, not who wants to lose weight, but who knows someone who wants to lose weight, help them. Don't ridicule them. Don't say things that like, oh, but you're great the way you are. Don't say things of like, but I like you the way you are. I don't want you to change. Don't. Help them. Help them and say, look, it might be tough, but I'll be here. I'll help you through it. Parents, if your child wants to lose a little bit of weight, don't tell them things of like, oh, you're too young for this or whatever. Help them make healthier choices.
Never too late.
Help them because it's never too early and it's never too late. It's never. And to have support. If someone doesn't want to, or someone is trying to lose weight, don't bring them to a confectionery shop. Don't bring them to Dunkin' Donuts. Because...
Yeah. Don't buy a bunch of sweets just to provoke them.
Exactly. Or like, I remember when I was trying to lose weight and people were trying to be fun, like, oh, I'm going to eat this slice of cake for you. It's like, it doesn't really help. Or when look at you, it's like, how can you eat that rice and chicken all the time? It doesn't help. Also,
when you do, let's say I used to do fasting.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go with people to restaurant. Bad idea.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Is it?
Yeah. I was doing 3-day fast or something. And I went with people to restaurant. I had
Oh,
just glasses of
Jesus.
water. I was like,
Oh my God.
stupid idea.
I know. Like, I remember when I was flying and I was doing my my prep. I was only the last few weeks of prep. So all I had in my suitcase was like packed oat sachets, packed protein sachets, and everyone was going out for like those gigantic meals. And in America, it's like the meals are just so tasty and saucy and just, oh my God. And we went out
That's
once.
why everybody's overweight there.
And we went out once for dinner, and the pain that I was sitting there and like California Pizza Kitchen, it's an amazing. And I was looking at all the food and I was like, oh my God, take me home. I don't want to see this. And I went back home in my hotel room, and there was no kettle. It was like the coffee machine was dispensing the hot water. And I was making my oats with the coffee machine. I was like, why do I do this? Like, I'm in America, the land of Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm eating my protein oats in the hotel room. And, everyone was going out for drinks. And I just got up at 5 o'clock in the morning because of jet lag. And I walked down to the gym and I was doing my exercise and all. And I was like, why am I doing this? But then I was like, I need to keep doing this. I need to be different. I need to show myself that I can. Because when I struggled with eating disorders, that was my biggest challenge, was the competition. And I said, if I can get through a competition, I can say that I won against an eating disorder. Because when you have an eating disorder, the thing is that you have a false idea of you have it under control, and you don't. And that's the worst thing ever. And it took me years to get over it. And I mean years. People thought that I'm fine. Like, nobody even knew, other than my close friends and family, that I had these issues. They're like, oh, she's so fit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, if you would know. Like, you've always been so fit. Yeah, because I ate 1 egg and 2 pieces of salad all day. And then I was doing an 1.5-hour workout. I was mad. It was mad. And I thought...
Burning out, yeah.
And, I thought that I
Energy.
was doing such a great job. Because the number was going down. What else would you want? And I destroyed so many things in my body with that. So many things. It's so bad. And when Victor... asked me,
our friend
in common, that's how we know each other. And when Victor asked me once if I would compete, then I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. No. And then I was thinking, I was like, if I can do a competition prep of 16 weeks of eating what I've been told to eat and restrict my calories, not binging, no overeating, no eating on the side, nothing, just what's on the plan, then I will beat it. And I did. And I did it 3 times. And third time I've done it 3 months postpartum. So I can say that I recovered from an eating disorder, yeah. And it was very tough.
Was it postpartum? Was it after
sorry, it's after having a baby, yeah.
Okay. You learn something every day. Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah. No, it's after having a baby. So I had my baby in July and I competed in October. So yeah, that was my biggest achievement. So yeah, so if someone is trying to lose weight and they're struggling with their weight, support them. Because a support circle is just the best thing to have. When you have people who might think that you're totally bananas, might think you don't need to lose weight, but they're there and holding your hands, or they challenge you on it. I was like, oh, but you said you try to eat healthier. So I think support has a great role in it as well. As well as in motivation.
So, just to wrap it up, we're running into 1 hour 40.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Is there any sort of last thought, any ideas you want to share? Something we didn't cover? Do you have anything you want to add to this?
Can I have a look on there?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So, so we covered quite cool topics about how to get started, that nutrition and exercise goes hand in hand, motivation. I even throw in that personal development that is also working on different aspects of ourselves.
And one more thing would be time management.
Okay, go for it.
That would be one thing I have written down, and it's so important to make sure you make time for yourself. Because if you don't do it,
Prioritize.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
Nobody will make time for yourself unless you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can be 20 minutes. Like loads of days, my workout is 25 minutes. Tabata training brings
good
your heart
enough.
rate up.
It's good enough, especially if you do it 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
It accumulates the volume.
Yeah, absolutely. And because it's at home, you can just do it.
In fairness, actually, I will just jump into it. Sort of studies show that if we do few more blocks of shorter work, it's better than, let's say you sit all day and then you do half an hour walk. It's better to split it every few hours to walk for 10 minutes. It's more beneficial than sitting for so long and then having more exercise.
Absolutely.
Just kind of break that sedentary lifestyle into action. It's actually more healthy.
Yeah. And as well, if you look at your heart rate, so you get exhausted. So when you do like a 30 minute Tabata workout or a HIIT workout, you get exhausted. By 30 minutes, you're dripping sweat. You can't breathe. It's messy. But then an hour later, you're like, wow.
Well, Tabata, that's
Wow.
20-10.
Yeah, that's
20 seconds on, 10 seconds off.
And then HIIT is like 45. The way I do it
40-20?
No, 45-15.
Okay.
That's how I work.
That
But
is many
sometimes
of
it's
these
like
splits.
30-10. So it's up to the individual, really.
Depends what you do. Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, it's like 25 to 30 minutes. It's exhausting. And then sometimes I do an hour, sometimes I do more. But I do feel after 30 minutes that like, if I would stop and then maybe 2-3 hours later I would do again, I would have a lot more energy. Because you do have a lot more power.
Yeah, well, if you eat, recover, and you come back into it, yeah. In fairness, I also tell my clients who, if I want them to do more cardio, because I'm mainly focusing on weightlifting, usually that's sort of 8 to 16 repetition range, mostly some of them doing supersets, triple sets, or small circuits of 5 exercises for more cardio. But if I will want my client to do extra 3 half an hours treadmill or cross trainer or rower machine, I tell them, listen, put it into your calendar, take it as seriously as you go to work. So, okay, Saturday morning you're off. This is the time you're waking up. So, well, at this time you can put it into your calendar and just do it. Put alarm, wake up, have some snack, hydrate, go.
Yeah.
And then go on with your day. So I think for some people, just having it with accountability that it's actually in your calendar. Yeah. It there's a reminder coming up. It's like, gym in half an hour.
And just one more thing when it comes to like, why is it good to have a trainer? Because you pay for something. You don't want your money to be wasted.
Yeah.
So if someone goes to you and say like, oh, I'll do that for free, you'll be like, okay, thanks, in the bin. Because it was for free. When you pay for it, you don't want your money to be wasted. Most of us do not have so much money to throw around. So when you pay for something, you dedicate yourself for something.
That's also why so many people actually don't show up to class, that they don't pay anything for the class and they don't pay for not showing up.
Of course.
But if you have to pay for it, you'll be like thinking, okay, well, I don't want to lose my money.
Exactly.
So there's some incentive. Sometimes you can play tricks on yourself, but I think the responsibility for your actions is important, not to be constantly hiding away from things and face them.
Yeah.
So the sooner people embrace the fact that it's an inside job, nobody can do it for them, all of that effort, all of that hard work, smart work will eventually start paying off, and people will start to feel better. They will look better. Longevity, health will be better. So it's it's something important. So just do it.
Absolutely. 100%. Just do it.
Henny, where to find you on Instagram or Facebook? What's your...
I'm on Instagram as sh_fitways. And you will find me there. I usually post once or twice a day. I post workouts every day, recipes, shopping, lifestyle kind of stuff, how our life is with 2 kids. And
So
DMs
again,
are always open.
So it's on Instagram is sh_fitway.
Fitway.
There we go.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Otto. Thanks for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Had
you.
a great time.
And it was nice to have you.
Thank you.